Hey guys, I'm Sam and today we're going to be talking about my very first sunscreen stick, and it's also by a new brand. This is the Undry Sunscreen. We're going to talk about the price, the cosmetic finish, the experience of reapplication, the branding, and I'm also going to share my thoughts on the entry of stick sunscreens into the Indian market. So let's get into it. This is a hybrid sunscreen. It has zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. It also has octocrylene and octyl methoxycinnamate and avobenzone. It doesn't have any new generation fancy filters like Juvenile T, but I think it's okay. I honestly feel like filters like that are a little bit overrated, and I also think that brands end up charging a lot more for sunscreens that contain these filters. So I'm okay to use traditional filters in my sunscreen. So the fragrance on this sunscreen has been listed as an IFRA certified masking agent. It smells a little bit like the Pond's products, you know, the generic like limonene, linalool type of smell. Undry is a newish brand on the Indian market, or at least I discovered it like a month ago or so. And when I saw that they had a sunscreen stick, I checked them out on Amazon. In their descriptive pictures, they had put up a certificate of UV testing. The SPF rating on the box is 50 plus, which is cool, and it's also listed as broad spectrum, although they haven't told me how many pluses are in the PA rating of this product. The number one question you guys all must have is, does it actually prevent your skin from tanning? Do you feel like your skin is protected? And to answer that question, I would say yes. Let me tell you why. You know, when you're out in the sun and it's been a while and your sunscreen wears off and you can sense the kind of inflammation and burny feeling in your skin, that immediately got soothed when I put the sunscreen on. And it's very similar to the kind of feeling that I get when I put on a really good sunscreen like the Aqualogica one. And when I used it on a pretty hot day out in the sun, I did not notice any aggravation in my hyperpigmentation or any tan when I washed my face at the end of the day. The packaging is like a pretty typical sunscreen stick. It's got a little wheel at the bottom. You wheel it up and then you put it on your face. When you first apply it, it feels kind of waxy on the skin, and originally I didn't love that so much, but if you just let it sit for 10 minutes and not like wipe it off immediately because you're panicking because it's going to break you out, it does settle down into your skin and it leaves a demi-matte to matte finish. Actually feels like you're putting on a really nourishing lip balm on your entire face. If you have oilier skin, you might not like the feeling of the stuffiness, but I have a feeling that most sunscreen sticks are going to give you that. Simply because of the nature of the product, it does have to have enough waxiness and hardness to hold itself together, and that's going to lend itself to a very thick layer on your skin. I also got a few of my friends to try it, and even though they reported it feeling a little bit thick at the start when they tried it on, as time wore on, it sank into their skin as well and they thought it was really nice. I did try reapplying this over makeup while I was outside, and it did a pretty good job of not breaking my makeup up. If you put it over your concealer or foundation and you put a lot of pressure when you're rubbing it on your face, it's gonna shift your makeup. But if you put it like in light layers and use a gentle hand, it's probably not going to disturb you way too much, and you can kind of just pat it in and then readjust the coverage so that it looks okay. The MRP is about 500 rupees, 499 rupees. I did feel like that was a decent price to pay for a sunscreen stick. This stick is 13 grams and most usual chapsticks are about 4 grams each. So this is about 3 times the size of a normal chapstick. And chapsticks usually cost between 150 to 200 bucks on the lower end. So I thought this was a decent value for money. When I applied this all over my face and my neck, the first time I lost 2 mm of the product, and so it's gonna last you very little time if you use it as your all the time sunscreen, especially because you probably have to use a lot more of it than you realize to get the right amount of SPF. Lab Muffin had done a really interesting video about how much sunscreen stick you actually need to use, so I'll link that in the description. I would prefer to use this as a top up when I'm going out and I don't want to be putting my dirty outside fingers onto my face. Should we talk about Undry's branding? Just take a look at this. It looks like Cerave, right? It has that similar visual language of like the brand name being cut in half by like a diagonally shaped blue patch. And I think that's an interesting strategy. It's not exactly like CeraVe, but I see what they're doing there. And I don't know. I'm kind of okay with it because I don't really want to discourage them, but I would like to see brands trying to be a little bit more original when they launch their products. Let me know what your thoughts are on Indian brands kind of copying and duping the graphic design of other brands. Initially, when they entered the Indian market, they were mostly just Korean sunscreen sticks like by Tokobo and Isntree and stuff, and those were really expensive, and they were charging like 1200 to 1400, which is like 15 grams of product, and I couldn't bring myself to spend that much money. And then India started releasing sunscreen sticks of their own. And a lot of the sunscreen sticks that were released by these better known brands were in the price range of 800 to 1000 rupees, which is fine. I feel like a lot of people could buy something at that price, but I don't think it's an accessible price for a majority of the Indian skincare market. There were a few more affordable options that had been released. Earth Rhythm released a few, but none of them had been tested, and I'd also seen some kind of negative reviews on the internet. I had presented a sunscreen stick from So True to my friend, and she said she had liked it, but she said it was a little bit waxy. I put out a community post a few weeks ago, I guess, asking if you guys wanted me to try all the sunscreen sticks on the market. And one of you guys gave me some good feedback at that point, which was give brands some time to like normalize their prices and, work out their formulations. And you were right, because since the Undry Sunscreen launch, there have also been other trustworthy brands that have launched more affordable sunscreen sticks, such as Aqualogica and Dot & Key. So let me know if you want me to review those as well, because I'm very keen on trying them. Final thoughts: if you are on the market for a sunscreen stick but you still haven't bit the bullet, I highly suggest this as your first one. I'm definitely gonna empty this out and probably repurchase it as well. I hope you thought this video was not too shabby. If you thought it was helpful, subscribe so that I can see your face again, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.